This is Ian Forrest here with my second video introducing specific areas of public interest which have arisen in my history and laid out in my autobiographical trilogy globally titled The Truth Never Lies. In this one I'm going to concentrate on that all-important subject of free speech and freedom of expression. The right of this is enshrined in America's constitutional First Amendment, for which I'm grateful, as these books in ebook form are currently being published in the USA. Unfortunately, many other countries do not extend that right to their indigenous citizens, let alone others, owing to interference by the state or other vested interests. This interference takes many forms, some of which are publicly debated. For nearly all cases, however, the result is suppression. Some countries around the world do this with brazen openness. Others resort to covert action with the same result. In my last book, I have explained why and how I have been imprisoned twice in the UK to silence my perfectly lawful and legitimate reporting, let alone reciting the very factual accounts in my life. In this country recently, there has been wide public debate about the freedom and control of the press. This was largely produced by a government-backed report from Lord Leveson, who recommended that there should be independent control of the press. This has been backed by a small but vociferous section of our society who quote a reason for this regulation as avoiding domination by politicians. In fact, the reporting of this drawn-out debate has falsely made the choice between a completely free, self-regulating press and political interference. The proverbial elephant in the room remains unseen and unquoted. It is, of course, the judiciary, those who decide, often in secret, what they will allow to receive for that right of freedom of expression. Those who also decide and act, again often in secret, to remove even the very freedom of innocent citizens who dare to tell the truth. But my imprisonment was not just to silence me for telling my truth. It took that terrifying situation to a much higher level. Namely, I was ordered to lie against the truth, and that judges' orders are superior to that truth. The truth can therefore be eradicated on a whim. Now, by any stretch of the imagination, that situation is not only immoral, but has no relevance to justice, something which should be the lifeblood of the judicial system. This cancer, as it were, has now spread to Europe, with a single judge in the European Court of Justice sitting on his own, determining that the truth can be erased in relation to the internet and other media. Again, simply by decree. No democracy, no accountability, no responsibility. A suppression which the American media can ignore in their own country, but not now in Europe. In the UK, returning to my direct experience, this almost unbelievable situation has taken an interesting turn. For years now, it has been the Queen's Bench Division of the Civil High Court, which has indulged itself in submissions for libel, privacy, defamation, etc. Over the years, particularly, the rich and famous have come to that court and gained injunctions to stop exposure of embarrassing parts of their private lives. Mostly, of course, they have done something wrong and want it covered up. If you are rich and influential enough, a super injunction can be obtained. This is granted in secret, of course, and the offending reporter, telling the truth again, of course, is suddenly faced with a warrant for his or her imprisonment. Unaccountable civil contempt of court is used. This is by a single judge with his appraisal, decisions and orders which are completely arbitrary unfair, unjust, and unlawful, because there is no rule of law involved. I will refer to that in a later video. As has been seen recently, serious aberrations such as the phone hacking saga can be safely dealt with by the criminal courts. But the press, and indeed those that use the internet, are entering a world of control which is commanded by decree. Thus we have seen the likes of Google, Yahoo and other search engines scurrying around to obey the diktat of a single judge who deliberates in response to some legal punter wanting to win his spurs over a completely trivial matter from his own admission. No doubt it gave the single judge what he wanted as well, a demonstration for and of unfettered judicial power and control. Watch out everybody, 1984 cometh a bit late. Thank you for watching. Here's goodbye until my next video and more revelation.